Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to a brand new journey that I want to undertake with you into the world of reading. So, this is Najman Sari, and I'd love to explore together the wonders of literature and its profound impact on our lives. And why is it that we love reading? Because it's multifaceted, it's faceted, it's about gaining knowledge, about finding entertainment, improving our cognitive skills, as well as fostering an empathy by embracing diverse perspective. So reading does open up the world and enriches our understanding of the human beings. And in its essence, it's about interpreting, understanding the written, language, the word, extract meaning, or simply. And in Arabic, the beauty is that the word iqra means to read, and it has a special significance in Islam. So that's why in this, to connect with Islam and the importance of reading and, about the ethos of our, it's deeply embedded in our ethos of our faith, about the first revelation was about read. So it underscores how knowledge and literacy is integral to our faith. And I want to bring this up in Ramadan to have a journey of Ramadan and reading and how it is, because in Ramadan, as it is, we have a unique connection with the Quran. We're reading it. It's a time for spiritual enhancement, and it can be further consolidated to further readings as well on related subjects. So that's a journey I'd like to take you through. And, so there's a transformative energy in that Ramadan creates, and it is conducive for expanding our learning otherwise. And why I feel like in Ramadan, it's something called like a time warp. So with heightened focus and spiritual energy, we do find ourselves that we accomplish more. So while we're still reading the Quran, whether it's just rote reading or with translation, it does give us a spiritual upliftment. And so let's make a conscious effort to dedicate more time to reading. It's an opportunity to deeper understanding with our faith, live more intentionally, empower ourselves, and equip ourselves with how to navigate criticism and Islamophobia. And so, the beauty of all of this is that in Ramadan, whatever we do, even if I want to learn to do recipes, I will probably be more accomplished in being able to do it. So that's why I would like to take you through this journey of reading on different, matters around Islam and Deen, but the knowledge that we should have at a broader level. So, let's just embrace this rich tradition that we have, and then let's have, especially in this blessed month, whether it's delving in the Quran, exploring its meaning, Islamic literature, or gaining insights into critical topics, let's make the most of this spiritual charged time for us. So I recommend that we set aside a dedicated moment, either early Fajr, if it's for the Quran, keep it for the Quran, but for another time, foster this habit of reading beyond Ramadan. And you can read online, digital, books or otherwise, but have this, let's enrich our minds, nourish our soul, and emerge from this month with a deeper connection with our faith and a broader understanding of the world around us. Okay, so so I'd like to just in this intro give you a kind of a direction of where to go of when you pick up a book. It's sometimes overwhelming, anything. And what I love to bring to you is now take you through a book of when you pick up a book, the first thing you do is you look at the title and you look at the author. Preferably, you also look at where it's published by, who it's published by, and then as soon as you open the book, again, it will tell you where it's published, who the publishers are. If you go through, you'll see a dedication, and often if it starts with Bismillah, if it's Islamic, you can get a sense of that. And then usually on this side of the page, well within the book, you get the date of the publication, and then you get something called an ISBN number, which is a library number, and so a lot of the information given on this side of the page is about the book, how it's been put into the archives, and it's like a copyright material and so on. And then it gets into the content page. But so often before the content page, you have something called an intro to the first to the edition, and so on. Sometimes it has a preface. Sometimes it has, if it's an editor, more work. But what I have in my hand, all this has, because it was published many times, this particular book, which I don't want to go into right now, but I'm just trying to give you the overview. So it gives you the introduction of how it came about, what happened, and at the end of it, usually it's by the author, and it gives a date at the end of the author. So that's the one thing. Then the other thing that happens is the back page is also always very useful. It gives you a bit on the book itself. It tells you what the book is about, how it came about, and so on. And then it frequently gives you the whole thing on the author itself. So when you pick up a book at the library, at anywhere, look at the front page, look at the back page, immediately open on the flap, what year was it published, how was it? So these are the kind of instantaneous things, like we go to the shop, and then we pick up, we immediately look for the ingredients. We're always looking for ingredients, and it says, how much sugar content, how much, what is it, glycemic index, and this and that. That's what we do whenever we pick up a product. So with this book, always read the front, the back. The back is usually very interesting. Sometimes it gives you great detail on the author. Sometimes if the author doesn't wish so much on him, sometimes it gives you reviews and comments on the book. So these are all very useful things to go through. Then you also look into the book to see if this one has just a straightforward content page. So it just has the chapters, so you can, that in itself gives you an idea what the book is going to take you through of what that is about. And then you can immediately go to what you particularly find interesting about that book. Let me read it on this. So reading contents is very useful. Sometimes at the end of the book, you have something called an index. That's also very useful. So and that always, index implies that it's at the end of the book. Sometimes there's also the term called appendices, and that's for something else. And as we go through the books, I'll take you through that kind of motion. And if it's a digital version of the book that I'm reviewing with you, then I won't. But the beauty is that it gives you lots of, sometimes it tells you further reading. Many books give you at the end, you've read this book, but if you want to read more, here's further readings about it. And that's also beautiful to have. And in this particular book, it tells you also, it has an index. Index is very good. You even have it in the Quran sometimes at the back, especially if it's a translation of the Quran. So at the end, you'll have, if you want to read up on Ibrahim alayhi salam or whatever, and it will tell you everywhere, where does it come. Now, because of the digital world, you can actually, for any ayah you're searching, you can feed it into the search engine, and you will get the replies for that. So, everything has made more easy, but it's always lovely to have a hard copy of a book in your hand. And inshallah, I'll go through this one also at some point. But the beauty is that you need to have these basic books as a reference point to either suggest to, maybe to reverts, to new people, and things of that sort. So please learn to pick up books and learn to have an overview, a grasp of it. In everything, you need to have an overview of what you're looking at. So I'm going to take you, hopefully, through books on this one also, which I will take you through. It's called Islam, the Natural Way, and it's by Abdul Wahid Hamid. So but I want to take you through the discoveries that happen in Islam. And the beauty of the Muslims through the ages of the golden age of the Abbasid period and so on, that they were something called polymaths. Polymaths is that they were not just experts on what they were doing. They had a whole range. They were Hufaz mostly, they knew the ahadith, they knew the seerah, they knew the history, and so on. So, and then there was their special interest for themselves. So that is the one thing. Then, inshallah, I want to take you through some seerah books, some books on history, some of our philosophers, Ibn Khaldun, Ibn Sina, and so on, Ibn Rushd. And then also some, things like Riyadh al-Salihin, some ahadith book, and just give you a recap. Not all books have I read, the ones which I'll be sharing through the month of Ramadan, but it's getting a glimpse of them, getting an overview about them, and then taking it further from there. So, if in Ramadan you don't have to go, obviously the emphasis should be on the Quran, finding out of the Quran, but I'd love to take you also through mufassirs, which mufassirs you might be wanting to look at. If you don't want to read the whole long tafsir of so many volumes of a mufassir, at least have an overview of these are the critical people that emerged in our history. So that's the kind of aim I have, and I pray to Allah that He guides me and I succeed in being able to share and animate you into wanting to really, we must pick up books for ourselves. It's good that we have so many learned ulama out there and we can just listen to them while we're busy cooking, while we're busy doing something. But it really has another feeling when you open a book and you are able to somebody else, because when you're listening to a recording, you say, yes, he did say that, but where did he say it? What did he say? How do I forward that little piece of clip of what I learned in a audio or in a video, and how do I share that? If it's written, if it's in the book, you can say page 28. This is what it is, and this is what the answer. It just gives you a greater sense of it's in there. It's like once upon a time, the ladies used to be writing recipes, and they'd go and they'd be able to flick through their book or their staples or their file and find the appropriate ones. So and just like in everything, we have an overview. We have carbohydrates, we have proteins, we have this, or we have desserts, or we have starters, or we have this. All these kind of things that go on, and we have an over idea of what I need for this iftar and what I need for this suhoor. So with books, you need to know which are starter books, which are books of in-depth books, which are books that you need to know on a specific topic. And that is the kind of journey you need to I love it with the Quran. Have an idea of how many surahs there are, the name of the surahs. When somebody talks about Surah 24, it's Surah Nur. Is they talking about that? And you have a mind map. And everything in these days is about mind maps, having an overview of something. Where did the journey start? You're not just banging into the middle of it. There is a background to everything. Whether it's so. On everything, when we look at specs of the cars, we want to know what it is, how much. I don't know anything about it, but it's like what's the power of the engine, how much is the mileage, how much fuel does it consume, so many things. So everybody has a passion for what they know, whether it's in sports or something. In Ramadan, I'm suggesting go through books, have an idea of books, at least be listening to what I'm suggesting to you as books, and after Ramadan, going into deeper so that you are more familiar with names of Muslim tradition, Muslim heritage, and we need to know. If we know so much about whatever has been given to us from outside Islam, so we need to really make an effort, and if this Ramadan can help us connect with reading of our own for our own spiritual journey and about our own faith, of how much literature we have in it. So with that, I'd like to leave you, and inshallah, I will pick up on this on a daily basis for a short time, and then hopefully that might be fruitful. So subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.